For 6 long years, little Emma hadn't spoken a single word. Doctors called it selective mutism. Therapists tried everything. Her father, a powerful millionaire named Charles Bennett, had spent fortunes searching for a cure. But no one could make his daughter speak. Then one ordinary morning, a man in a stained orange jumpsuit came rumbling down the Bennett driveway in a garbage truck. And by the end of that week, Emma, the little girl who never spoke, whispered her first word. To him. Before we dive into this unbelievable true story about the power of kindness, make sure to subscribe to your channel name, hit the like button if you believe small acts can change lives, and tell us in the comments what kindness means to you. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world there's still good in people. Charles Bennett was a man who had it all. He owned a luxury car dealership chain across 3 states. His mansion sat on top of a green hill outside Seattle, with tall glass windows that overlooked the ocean. To the outside world, he was the picture of success, a man whose life seemed perfect. But behind those glass walls was silence. The kind of silence that haunts you. His daughter, Emma, had been silent since birth. She could hear perfectly, understand everything, and her eyes sparkled with life, but she had never spoken. Not a word. Not even Dad. Charles's wife, Caroline, had passed away during childbirth, leaving him to raise Emma alone. He hired nannies, tutors, speech therapists, even psychologists from across the country. But nothing helped. Every evening, he'd come home from work, take off his tie, and walk into Emma's playroom. She'd be there, quietly drawing, or lining up her dolls in perfect order. He'd kneel beside her, whisper softly, "Hey, sweetheart. Daddy's home." But she'd only smile gently and return to her drawings. Charles tried to fill the silence with money, expensive toys, trips, therapy. But deep down, he knew what he really wanted money couldn't buy. He wanted his little girl to say one word. Just one. One chilly Monday morning, a man named Sam Turner pulled up to the Bennett estate in his old green garbage truck. Sam was a single dad. His wife had left him years ago, and he was raising his 7-year-old son, Lucas, all on his own. Life hadn't been kind to Sam. He'd lost his job at a factory, his home, and nearly everything, but never his spirit. He took the garbage job because it paid the bills and let him be home by afternoon to pick up Lucas from school. Sam had a rule: no matter how rough life got, always smile. Because, as he told Lucas, kindness doesn't cost a dime, son, but it pays back in ways you can't imagine. When Sam first drove up the Bennett driveway, he was amazed by the size of the place. But what caught his attention wasn't the mansion, it was the little girl sitting by the gate, hugging a stuffed bunny. She had big blue eyes and a curious face. Sam waved and said, "Hey there, princess. You guarding the castle?" Emma didn't respond. She just stared, expressionless, clutching her bunny. Sam smiled wider. "That's okay. I'm not much of a talker before coffee either." He chuckled, tossed the garbage into the truck, and gave her a small wave before driving off. From that day on, every Monday, Sam made sure to greet Emma. He'd bring her little surprises: a flower he picked from the roadside, a funny drawing, or once, a shiny button he said was from a pirate's jacket. Emma never spoke. But she began waiting for him. Every Monday, she'd be sitting by that same gate, holding her bunny, eyes bright, waiting for the garbage truck to roll in. Charles noticed it one morning. He looked out his window and saw his silent daughter smiling at a garbage man. It confused him, maybe even irritated him. Who was this man? Why was Emma interested in him, when she ignored everyone else? The next Monday, Charles went outside himself. "Hey," he called, approaching the truck. "You've been stopping here a lot. Something going on?" Sam quickly removed his gloves and smiled. "Oh. No trouble, sir. Your daughter just likes to say hi. She's got a kind smile. Makes my day." Charles frowned slightly. "She doesn't talk." Sam nodded softly. "That's okay. You don't need words to talk to people, sir. Sometimes, a smile says plenty." That simple sentence struck something deep in Charles. He'd spent years trying to get his daughter to speak. But maybe he'd forgotten how to listen. Over the next few weeks, Sam kept stopping by for a few minutes. He'd show Emma his treasures from the day: shiny rocks, a funny-shaped bottle cap, or a paper butterfly Lucas made. He'd tell her stories about the people he met, the silly mistakes he made, the neighbors who always forgot to put their bins out. And Emma would listen closely. Her eyes followed his every move, her hands fidgeting with her bunny, her lips sometimes curling into a small giggle. Then one morning, everything changed. Sam arrived as usual, humming to himself. But today, Emma wasn't by the gate. Instead, she was standing halfway down the driveway, waiting for him. When he saw her, he grinned. "Hey, there's my partner in crime. What's up, kiddo?" Emma walked closer. She looked nervous, her tiny hands clutching her bunny tight. Sam knelt down so they were eye to eye. "You okay, sweetheart?" And then it happened. Emma opened her mouth. And in a soft, shaky whisper, she said one word. "Hi." Sam froze. He thought he'd imagined it. But when he saw the tears in her eyes and the shy smile on her face, he knew it was real. His heart felt like it might burst. "Hi," he whispered back, his voice trembling. "It's so good to finally hear you, kiddo." Behind the front window, Charles stood watching. He dropped his coffee cup. His daughter, silent for 6 years, had just spoken. Not to a therapist. Not to a doctor. But to a garbage man with a kind smile and a big heart. Later that day, Charles ran outside to meet Sam. His eyes were wet. "What did you do?" he asked. How did she?" Sam shook his head. "I didn't do anything, sir. I just talked to her like she was any other kid. Maybe she just needed someone who wasn't trying to fix her, someone who saw her." Those words hit Charles harder than he expected. He had been so busy chasing solutions that he forgot what Emma truly needed: connection. Simple, human kindness. From that day forward, Charles made changes. He started coming home early. He and Emma would go for walks, visit parks, or feed ducks by the lake. Sometimes Sam and Lucas joined them. Emma spoke more and more each week, softly, slowly, but surely. First words, then sentences, then laughter that filled the Bennett mansion like sunshine through dusty windows. Charles often looked at Sam with deep gratitude. "You gave me my daughter," he said once. But Sam shook his head. "No, sir. She just needed someone to believe she could speak. You gave her the world after that." Months passed. Emma and Lucas became inseparable friends. Charles sponsored Lucas's school fund, making sure the boy had everything he needed. And every Christmas morning, the Bennett mansion had 2 extra chairs at the table for Sam and Lucas, who had become like family. Life had come full circle. A man who once picked up trash helped pick up the pieces of a broken family. And a little girl who had never spoken finally found her voice through kindness. Sometimes, the greatest miracles don't happen in hospitals or with big gestures. They happen in the smallest moments, in a smile, a kind word, or a simple act of compassion from one human being to another. Charles learned that money can't buy healing. Sam proved that kindness can. So the next time you see someone you might usually overlook, the janitor, the garbage collector, the delivery driver, remember, you never know what quiet miracle their kindness might spark. Because sometimes, all it takes is a little love, to make someone finally say hi. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes in the power of kindness. This is your channel name, reminding you. Kindness doesn't cost a thing, but it can change everything.